Welcome back to another video. My name is Kyle and I suck at budgeting. It is the end of the month of June, and I don't know about you, but June did not happen. I don't know where. I must have fallen asleep. I don't know, but here we are in July. So we got to close out the month of June and then do our prep for July. So let's do that. We got a whole bunch of stuff to do for that. So let's hop into YNAB. If you are new here, this is YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. If you are looking to try this software, there is a link down in my description, which will get you an extra free month of YNAB if you sign up using that. I will also get a free month. There have been people who have used it in the past, and I thank you very much for that. Sorry. My brain is all over the place today. So yeah, that's YNAB. And if you also are new here, I'm trying to hit 400 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm at about 340 or so. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. So we do videos like this 3 times a month. I do a first paycheck, a second paycheck, and a month closeout. And then every once in a while, I throw in some mental health stuff. I have another idea that I'm in the works on, but just haven't gotten around to actually doing it. But there's some new stuff coming. So yeah, let's get into closing out the month of June and prepping for July. So the first thing I do is make sure that my mouse is in the right spot. And then I go through and look at my underfunded filtered view. And the idea here is that all of my targets need to be met by the end of the month, which they have. If they hadn't, they'd be sitting here, but they are, so they're great. So we're done with the first part of the closeout. The next part of the closeout is we need to go to here and look at our transactions. So we have a couple transactions that we have to deal with. So let's go through and approve this new transaction. Hit up Kroger on the way home today. I was actually off from work today, so I did some errands, and Kroger was one of them. So we're good there. The next thing I do is I go back and I look at all of my transactions, and I make sure that there are no pending transactions. And if there are pending transactions, I make sure to enter them first. That way I don't have to worry about, I like to have my budgets close out and be done. I mean, YNAB does handle it, it'll be okay, but it's easier for me if I close everything out at the end of the month. So you'll see that there are 2 pending transactions that I did today. So the first one, we need to go through and change the name. And if we change the name to Trophy Pizza, it will, oops. There we go. It remembers eating out, so we're good. So did I spend $51.15 eating out today? Kind of. So I did have lunch there, but I also grabbed a full pie to take home with me for lunch for the week. I'm going to count it as eating out, so we'll do that. Then there's a place that I found called the Ohio Barbecue Store. The Ohio Barbecue Store. Oops. And this is going to go into old-fashioned word. So they sell smokers and pizza ovens, but they also sell ribs and sauces and stuff. And I've been looking to use this product called Texas Rib Candy for my ribs, and I was going to do it this coming weekend for the 4th of July. And Amazon sells it for $20 a bottle, and these guys sell it for $11 a bottle. So went down and grabbed a couple bottles of it, and couple other seasonings and stuff for this weekend. So now that that's done, I go back to my plan and I make sure that I have nothing overspent. And if you look over here, I don't. So we're good there. The next thing I do is I go through and I look at my available balances and I check them out and I decide whether I'm going to keep them or whether I'm going to put them back to ready to assign. Some of the balances stay, some of them don't. So in this case, the first line item here is the Jeep. The check was submitted on Saturday. I just mailed the check off. Should be there by tomorrow, or actually the day that this video comes out. So hopefully by the end of next week or end of this week, the Jeep will be done. and paid off and good to go. So, so we're going to leave this available balance here until that money clears. And there's actually a little bit more money in here than I needed. Came out to $895.40, so I've got a couple extra bucks in there, but we'll let it ride for now. We'll pull it out next time. So insurance, we have an extra penny. That's going to go to ready to assign. And then old-fashioned word, ready to assign. Eating out, ready to assign. And gas, ready to assign. And now we're just going to go down the list and just make sure everything else is where it needs to be. So this is the mortgage extra payment. So I pay my mortgage biweekly. So every 2 weeks, the mortgage comes out. Some of you have magic months where you get an extra paycheck. I have, I don't know, what's the opposite of magic? If you can come up with a word for a good word for the opposite of magic, that's what I have. So every 6 months or so, I have a month where I have 3 mortgage payments. July is one of those months. So every month I put aside $109.10, and that covers me for that extra payment that happens every 6 months. So this is going to stay right where it is. Backup debit's going to stay right where it is. Emergency fund's going to stay right where it is. $20 for health. I have a doctor's appointment coming up. It was supposed to be, I think, in May, and I kept pushing it back. So it'll actually happen July 11th. So I'm going to leave that $20 there for that. The non-monthly bills are going to stay right where they are. Domains and hosting, going to stay right where they are. The secret category. We might talk a little bit about the secret category. I'm not sure. It might be a full video. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it today. Who knows? We'll see. And then the keyboard fund, which keeps getting decimated, is there. So we have $275.89, and that needs to get assigned somewhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the calculator, because I like to track how much money I have going towards month ahead. I used to keep a holding category, but now that YNAB is doing this down here in the bottom corner where you have the assigned in future months, which I just, where did it go? What did I do? There we go. So now it's got this, assigned in future months category or thing here. I use that. So now I'm actually budgeting money ahead of time. So, but I like to have a number. So 1263.77 plus the 275.89 equals 1539.66. So then what I do is I have what I call my really ugly spreadsheet right over here, and I put in 1539.66. And that tells me that from last month, I had $40 extra towards month ahead. And that's what this is tracking. It's going month ahead. That's the next step of the plan, which we'll talk about in a second because we're gonna do goals in a little bit. So, so that is that. Back to YNAB. All right, now I need Todoist, which I didn't open up, and I should have. All right, so we have Todoist. A new update is ready to be installed. We're not going to do that now. So I go through now and I update my my retirement accounts. So I have over here TIAA, which is my work account, and the new balance is 46108. 12. Sorry. And save. And Vanguard. New balance is 37177.91. Save. And let me just get this out of my way. So what that means is my Vanguard went, oops, let's get the calculator there. I don't need that anymore. So my Vanguard account went up $1,611 this month, and my TIAA account went up $2,765.54. Now what I do is I go to my early retirement spreadsheet. And what I did was I created this thing. You'll see down here, each month has a tab. So we're in the June tab, and we're just going to copy those numbers over. And let's do, can I not do that? I can do it here though. So this is TIAA. Ooh, don't do it that way. Paste special, values only. There we go. And then let's go to Vanguard. And back to here. And values only. There we go. All right. So that puts me at 83,286.03. Does that match? Yep. Good. All right. Sweet. So we are done with that. Let's go back to the plan here. Let's see what our plan is next. Actually, let me hop into Todoist real quick. Let me make sure I'm not skipping anything. That I need to do still. So that's done. That's done. I have a list of things that I do every month. Update month ahead spreadsheet. We're doing the month wrap up. We did update the FI sheet. Review long-term goals. All right. Long-term goals. What I do is I take my goals and I copy them, and then I go to the next month and I paste them and I hit OK because I always forget to hit OK and then it doesn't save. It makes me insane. So number one, I'm going to call it done, which means we can get rid of it. Which means now we have to renumber everything. Really cool if this were an actual list. All right. I hit OK, and we're just going to go through the stuff here. So number one, me, which is that keyboard thing that I've been talking about, the camp that's going to come up at the end of next year. Is that number one now? I don't know. I actually honestly haven't thought about it. It might be weird to think about me for number one for a while. But let's leave it as number one for right now. Next step is month ahead. I sometimes do projections. It's too late to do a projection for this month, so forget about that. Emergency funds, yes. Increased Roth contribution, pay off house. I think that's in line with everything that I want to do. So we're going to call that good for now. So yeah. The only thing left is we got $275.89 that needs to go somewhere. And I don't know yet what to do with it. So yeah, let's chat a little bit. So the idea, let's talk about the secret category first. I mentioned in a couple of videos ago about something that I want to try, kind of comes back every year, and I don't do it for whatever reason. And I know the reasons, and we'll talk about the reasons. So every year around this time, it's usually around the April, May, June, July, August, the spring, summer time is where this comes up. So back when I was younger, I was a very avid biker, mountain biking and BMX kind of stuff. Rode, I mean, on the weekends, it was probably like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. I rode a lot. And over the years, I've stopped and always wanted to get back into it. And every once in a while, there's one year where I go, I'll do it this year. And I do it for a little while. But two things generally stop me. One, finances. It's not a cheap thing. The bikes that I still have are pushing 30 years old at this point. Um, I repair them myself. I'm pretty decent at it. So they're up and running. Actually, one needs a full drivetrain overhaul, but the other one is actually, I wonder if I can find a picture of it real quick. Um, it's a pretty sweet looking bike. I'll go back into YNAB. So this is, I have the full version of this, but this is the mountain bike that I have. Problem is it's 30 years old. They don't make parts for it anymore. So if and when things break, parts are super hard to find. They're not compatible with the new stuff that's out. Um, the geometry of this particular bike is a little bit scary. And yeah, so the way the bike is built, it's meant as a cross country bike, which is more for climbing mountains rather than descending mountains. Which I know it sounds kind of weird, but like in this sort of a bike, the way it works is it's meant as a climbing bike, and when you're going downhill, it actually pushes your weight so far forward that they nicknamed this bike the Bucking Bronco because so many people just go over the top of the handlebars. Um, Throw on top of that the fact that I'm in my 40s now, and going down hills on a mountain bike when I work for a living and play the piano for on the side for a living, injury is not something that I'm looking to get into. So I'm really kind of experimenting with doing more road stuff, which is significantly less dangerous as far as like jumping and descending, and I mean you still have to worry about cars and things like that, but more or less safer. So the secret category is to budget for something that is a new bike, because I haven't bought one since early 2000s. So that's the plan. That's what the secret category is. And I think what we're going to do with this 275.89 is go down to the secret category and just dump it all in there. The other reason that I don't do this every year, like I say I'm going to, is weight. And I figure we are talking about finances and stuff. And it's a very personal thing. We talk about mental health here, so this kind of goes to that a little bit. So every year that this comes up in my head, I go, I don't have enough money and I'm too fat to do it. So I've been starting to do some weight loss, down 13 pounds since the beginning of the month. So the goal for the first phase of the goal is by July 11th is to hit 20 pounds. So we're well on our way. Will I hit the full 20 pounds? I don't know. Maybe close. But I watched a video a couple weeks ago about bouldering, and I have a friend who does it, and I don't know why it popped up in my YouTube feed, but it did. And I was watching it and I went, it's kind of interesting. It might be kind of fun to try. And then I went, you get winded climbing into your car. How are you going to climb up a wall? Like there's just no way. So that was kind of the start to this. I need to lose weight. I need to start doing something better for me. Because I'm realizing that my weight is now starting to inhibit what I can and can't do. And I have noticed, playing the piano as much as I'm playing lately, it would be easier if I weighed less. So, we've been doing old-fashioned calorie counting and some intermittent fasting. That's the plan. That's what's been getting me, down so far. And then if I can get to a point where I can finance a bike here rather quickly, start riding again, add that to the regimen, I think it would be very beneficial. So that's the story. The unfortunate thing is, like most of my hobbies, like the photography, the woodworking, the I don't know, piano, the keyboard stuff, it is not a cheap hobby. I need to find a cheaper hobby, but you know, that's where we're at. So the weight loss journey has been going. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. And speaking of which, it's time for me to make dinner. So been on a dense bean salad kick. So I know Just Finance has been about the dense bean salads, and that's kind of where I found it. So I've been doing those for lunch quite a bit. And I've been on a quesadilla kick for lunch for dinner. Um, but my neighbor next door has got chickens, and she gave me a dozen eggs this week. So we're doing egg sandwiches for dinner this week. So I have to go make an egg sandwich. So all right, I think that's enough babbling for now. I've got some things to make for dinner, and got to edit this video. So thank you for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope I didn't overshare, and hope your budgets are going well. Remember to hit the subscribe button, like the video if you liked it, and if you didn't, like it anyway because it helps me. And see you next video. See ya.